Zenless Zone Zero has been under a little bit of scrutiny lately regarding HP inflation. EO believes you can alleviate that just by playing well. He goes into a few cases of casual versus an advanced player, as well as showcasing a solo Soldier 11 clear. Saint believes that the HP inflation is starting to have a trend like games like Honkai Star Rail, where it's starting to become a problem. A lot of it due to the strength of Hoshimi, Miyabi, and Astrial, right? I want to talk about it, but let's get right into it. So this is where this all started, and I'm lagging because I have a game open right now, but I have to say this just to eliminate certain comments that I'm gonna get. So this all started with Saint's video, which was heavily disliked because, I mean, almost if this timer hits if this timer hits under 5, that's not clearing, right? I don't know if this is last floor. I'm assuming this is last floor. That would be frightening if it wasn't last floor, but almost not clearing with Miyabi, and then going on this tangent about there being a HP inflation problem. And a lot of the comments are just saying skill issue, whatever. And then Saint pens comment, can't wait till 1.7 to revisit this. Y'all will be legendary. 1.7 is coming up soon. I believe that's the next quote unquote Archon type character. Now, this is where I've been for the past week and a half, right? And that star means new game plus expert mode. And I want to say these gacha games are not hard. They are not hard at all. If you want to do something hard, do this. This is something that I'm currently working on myself. A no-hit Simon parry only run, right? This is something that I would consider hard, right? This is harder than like solo dungeon Wuwa blindfolded versus like Florida Elise difficulty 6. This shit's hard, right? That's some hard timings. Now, when you're getting shit on by an entire community because of like your tone and because of just how you're presenting things, it's going to cause some resentment. It's 100% going to cause resentment, right? I personally don't think the Zenless Zone Zero community myself is that toxic. I have gotten people in my comments where I've made like guides, and people have just kind of, there's always those people that have just like monster egos, and they're just like, well actually the optimal rotation is this, and I feel like that exists in every community, so I'm not gonna just hold that to the Zenless community, but I have gotten that before. But this is essentially where this started, right? Moving on
yesterday, a video popped up on my feed on my channel that I was like, wow, that's crazy, doesn't exist, no way, I gotta watch it.
Just so you guys know, this is actually, I think Saint talks about the HP in Zenless. It has actually gone down. It's gone down, but it went up previously, right? So this is like 1.4, and this is where we are at now. So it has gone down from the last patch, and I believe he made a video. I'm not, the title and the thumbnail were positive, but apparently he was like praising it. He's praising the devs on that. I would say both of these CCs have a hard time seeing the other person's perspective, right? Which actually EO brings up Max's graph, and I think that's, I think it's actually perfect. I just think the way he did bring it up wasn't the best because he only showed the top bar, right? And let's just remove the word pro from gacha games. Let's just say advanced being the highest, because pro is just kind of silly for gacha games because they're so easy. And then casual / tours. I think that's fine. So if you're someone who's really good at the game, people that aren't as good at the game, you are going to see that more often, right? In your eyes, a lot of players are going to be casual tourists, right? And then it's the opposite for casual players. Up here, it would say advanced. Up at the top for the title, it would say advanced for the casual graph. If you're a casual / tourist, when you see other people play the game and they're clearing a lot easier and they're better than you, this blue bar is going to be those advanced players. You are going to view them as being advanced. And I'm not just talking about like Zenless. I mean like Wua, people who like zero cycle and like HSR without like eidolons and just like insane investment. That's how it's going to appear to you, right? So I think that's something that EO didn't exactly go over, but then he goes into this deadly assault clear,
but in
right here.
I'm using this for a number of reasons. This entire video shuts down every single argument.
Let me move my model. Okay.
Possible. Why? Because we are using in-game representation of power creep, HP inflation, time-based mechanics, whatever. Which is why I have the paper over there.
What does this video prove? Wait,
okay,
wait,
so
what does this video
Saint's
actually...
whole argument here is it doesn't prove anything. This guy's barely clearing. One, he has brimstone on, which I mean brimstone, fire and brimstone. I'm assuming that's Soldier 11's signature weapon, so that definitely makes a difference. And then EO, I believe, says here. Let me get to the point so you guys can see this. I believe it's here.
Be with the Giga cracked build. Oh, that's
Mindscape 1. When Soldier 11 enters combat or switches in, immediately irrelevant. M1 immediately becomes irrelevant because she cannot switch in. She is solo. This doesn't matter.
So I don't think that's a point that was refuted. I don't think you can refute their point. Her M1 doesn't do anything for this argument, right?
2. When triggering fire suppression, basic attack, dash attack, and dodge counter damage increases by 3%.
That's 36% damage.
Yeah, and that is 36% damage. But I believe EO says something.
It's basically giving her a secondary disk drive. This is helping Soldier 11 solo Soldier 11, by the way, without a team. Irrelevant. Basically.
Okay, so EO says it's basically giving her another disk drive. I would have used the argument that it's giving her like another character, maybe like a Nicole or something, even though that doesn't like necessarily, that team doesn't necessarily work. But for the sake of the argument, 25% defense shred from Nicole plus the actual damage she's doing is bro's face right now. Plus the actual damage she's doing would equate to just like having another teammate. This definitely does something. Well, basic attack says dodge, special attack, and chain attack. She's not chain attacking. Her basic attack, I would say that does buff her enhanced basics as well, right? It does. And then the special attack does a shit ton of damage in her. So that one is pretty relevant for sure. And then signature weapon, brimstone, as well as Saint goes into how these artifacts are giga cracked. I believe in terms of gacha, I think Zenless has the least rolls out of like you don't, let's just compare Wuthering Waves at the moment, right? There's no basic attack damage bonus, there's no heavy attack damage bonus, there's no resonance lib, there's no resonance skill. You have less to roll in this game, so it's a lot easier to get cracked artifacts. I will say that having it roll into the actual stats, that is where the RNG does like actually matter. Another thing that Zenless does have going for it that I will say is there are no low rolls in Zenless. If you roll crit rate on a 5-star artifact, it rolls at 2.4, right? But definitely for sure, and I'm gonna say it again, for sure, having it roll into the stats actually does matter. So I think This is a very, very, very cracked Soldier 11, and she is M3. I would say it like M2 because the first one doesn't really do too much for her in this specific scenario, and then the guys on the pin set not running the fire damage bonus that's recommended by prydwen. EO openly he completely disagrees with prydwen's tier list because he views the game a lot differently than everyone else, which it is what it is. And then I believe Saint says this.
The argument once again is, unless you play this game for 10 plus hours a day, perfecting all your rotations and all your combos, you don't deserve anything in this game.
So that is a bit hypocritical because he called the game easy. If you're calling the game easy, then that's achievable by anyone, right? Achieved without great effort, presenting few difficulties, without difficulty or effort. I mean, if you're gonna call the game easy, then anyone should be able to clear, right? It's brain dead. That is what easy, that's what easy means, right? And then we'll get to the actual point that he sort of pivoted towards, and I believe that was, if you have the newer characters, then you're clearing easy, way easier than everyone else, right? And then obviously he goes into the whole, what doesn't have this? Like, look at Tectone, even Tectone clears. About that, I just want to, like, I mean, Tectone has an S6 Cantarella. His Carlotta's S2, I believe. His Camilla is S2. That's 130% more bust damage. Bro's a whale. Bro is a whale, so of course he's clearing TOA not knowing what he's doing because he doesn't have to do optimal rotations because he's paid to clear a lot easier. That's the whole point of like whaling, right? You don't have to try as hard. So I think the whole Tectone argument's ridiculous, but then he does pivot to the point of a lot of the older characters aren't clearing as easy as Miyabi, which is true. That is something that I definitely agree with. Whatever side you put Miyabi on, other than like what we saw originally at the beginning, which was this was just, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't like, it doesn't take too much, it doesn't take too much to clear this game. I find it so easy. I always have 6, maybe like 7 minutes left whenever I clear in Shiyu. It's so brain dead. Deadly Assault's a little harder. It's a little tighter for sure. I think we should be talking more about Deadly Assault. But if you have the newer characters, then you're clearing a lot easier. I don't think it's fair to make that argument yet. I think we wait, right? I think it's too early to bring that argument in because we just had a dev talk where they mentioned we are going to be bringing up characters that have fallen off, right? The Jane Does, the Yuans, Armasa, rest in peace, Ellen getting brought up. We wait till that happens before we make claims like that. Newer characters being the best as well is kind of another argument that I just kind of want to dismantle, because I mean, look at Sanbi. Sanbi with Trigger comes nowhere near Miyabi, and I've mentioned this in my last HP inflation video. We talked about how, so at the next patch we are getting the quote unquote like Archon of this game, which is the next Void Hunter. The next Void Hunter is probably going to be T0, right? I believe this is done intentionally where all Void Hunters are going to just sit at T0. If it goes beyond that, then I'm wrong. If it goes beyond that, then I'm wrong. It is what it is. But I think it's too early to make these claims that the newer characters are just, I mean, look at Vivian. She literally just came out. You see this big new over here. She literally just came out and she's not sitting up here. Another thing this game had previously was DPS is a newer role. It used to be broken down into anomaly and pure DPS, where pure DPSs were attack agents. A few patches later, everyone realized that anomaly is just better than attack agents. Reason being, you always have access to damage regardless if the enemy is stunned or not, right? And if the enemy's stunned, then you benefit from that even more. So I think the tier list definitely reflects that. Attack agents are just going to naturally fall off because of the game's just if you want to call it broken, then it's broken. It's broken intrinsically because anomaly agents are just way better than attack agents. And then obviously Miyabi's a combination of the two, which is kind of insane. So back to the graph. I believe he said something here.
Oh my god, wow, I'm in orange territory now. Crazy what happens when you understand more about the game's mechanics and how things work, so that you can mix and match and play around with what it is without needing a guide maker to tell you what to do. The entire conversation, those 3 points that we talked about, it's only this green section right here feeling entitled from orange and red. That's what it is. I understand this. Again, I've spoken.
I mean, let me think about that for a second. Feeling entitled from orange and red. I feel like casuals and tourists don't care if they clear Shiyu or Deadly Assault because it's not an insane amount of rewards. It can help. Sure. I pulled 5 stars in one pull. It's possible. Or, I mean, this would only be like a freaking third of a pull or something, but sure, I can understand why like missing out on that would be annoying, but if you're a casual and tourist, you probably don't care. Novices would probably care. So the novice players in EO's head, he's saying that they are upset because they cannot clear. There's things that they're not doing, which would help them clear, like splitting up Miyabi and Astra. That's something that I thought about naturally myself. I definitely try to split them up, or I used to run Miyabi, Yanagi, and Astra, but now because I pulled Vivian, I can split up Miyabi and Yanagi and run Yanagi with Vivian and like Rina or some shit like that if I want. And Miyabi usually still gets like Astra unless someone else needs them. Like usually the side that's weak to fire, if that side needs them, then that side probably gets Astra. And that's going to help with the clear immensely, just because Astra, it's not even Astra's buff. Well, it is Astra's buff, so I'm not going to lie. She gives you like 1200 attack. That's really good for anomaly characters. And then also the ability to like quick swap without having to quick swap. That's really strong. Astra's kind of a mistake, but I do agree with this point because let's just say and it's not Saint, it's a big streamer that a lot of the community knows. Majority of the community knows. If you say their name, if I was to bring up their name, you know them. They were playing Zenless. This was a long time ago. This was pre-Miyabi. They were running Yuan, Qingyi, and Nicole. So to EO's point, when he says things that they're not doing, I agree with that. They were doing Shiyu 7 and they missed the clear about 5 or 6 times and they had to keep restarting. They kept ending their chain with Qingyi, whereas I see that and I'm like, if we go back to this graph, right? Assuming this is advanced, and then like I kind of see my perspective is this big blue line, and I see a lot of players as casual or tourists in a lot of the games that I play. They would finish the chain on Qingyi, whereas I see that and I'm like, why wouldn't you just finish the chain on Nicole and then quick swap into Yuan? I believe that gives you 2 bullets when you quick swap into her. So to EO's point, I get where he's coming from, right? Yuan sliding into into charge attack rather than doing basic 1-2 into your charge bullet, because that wastes like 2 seconds. And then I believe Saint says
for 10 plus hours a day, perfecting all your rotations and all your combos.
Well, there's no rotation here. Well, actually,
You don't deserve anything in this game. You need to play like a Giga Sweat. You need to clear a PvE game. This is why nobody wants to play ZZZ.
it hasn't gotten that bad yet. I literally think this is Fallout from this. That's Fallout from this. You know what I mean? You didn't parry as much as you should. You didn't dodge. This patch was HP of Shi was decreased. Miyabi isn't necessary, and it's because I beat Shi with Piper and Haramasa as my main DPS. Like, yeah, I mean, this is just riddled with skill issue. I'm not saying it's riddled with skill issue. I'm just saying the people are commenting it's riddled with skill issue. But yeah,
and you have a CC that is just saying shit like this. To play,
Eosh is saying that there are ways to clear regardless of, like, people consider Shiyu, or not Shiyu, but Deadly Assault probably the hardest game mode in Zenless, because it's like so time crunch and it's very tough getting that like 20k. It can be tough. I was gonna make a video on this a while back, but all you have to do is read. In 46k, my freaking Soldier 11 is not hit like that. But all you have to do is read. The performance points in Deadly Assault are everything. Maximizing those performance points are everything. That will help you get 20k. I need to make a video and break that down, but
this PvE non-competitive game, you need to
they're all non-competitive except Ethereal Restart.
Invest in it like it's a
in Summoner's War. Like, I'm sure there's other ones as well.
Fucking MOBA. Like you're grinding League of Legends. Like you're grinding.
Again, I don't think you have to grind that hard in this game to like be good at it. It's so surface level.
Street Fighter. You need to put that level of commitment into this game for a fucking PvE resetting game mode, just so you can get your 300 fucking polychromes. Really?
It's funny he says Street Fighter. Justin Wong, one of the greatest fighting game players of all time, plays this game pretty casually, and he's clearing everything in the game. Justin's a whale, though, to be honest. Nah, that motherfucker's a whale. Negate my last statement. Bro's a whale.
That's not how gacha games work. That's why this game is going to fucking die.
Again, resentment from this. That's where that tone's coming from.
This take, literally, if it was actually agreed on, it would kill the game. Because people will just think to themselves, it's literally not worth the investment. And if I'm not playing this game to experience the end game at all, I am playing it. I am just going to play it once every 5 weeks when the patch drops.
So all these gachas, I'm not gonna lie, Claire Expedition 33 changed my life. I play all these gachas like so casually now. I literally just do the in-game stuff and that's it. I'll probably do my Shiyu today. Not struggle at all. Yeah, I do have like newer units, but I mean, I'm not pulling Hugo, but I do have Vivian. Didn't pull Sandby, but I did pull Trigger, and I'm still gonna clear like super easily. I guarantee you. I'll stream it on YouTube, and when I do, it's gonna create a VOD. Just check the VOD. It's gonna be the easiest clears of my life. So it's not that deep.
This is actually the most toxic positive take I feel like I've seen.
I think this actually is like a bad example. I get why he wanted to use it. Because he sees one character clearing a game mode that people bitch about. I get it. This guy does have some pretty cracked substats because this rolled into crit damage 3 times. I only have one piece like this in my account, and then he has double attack, right? Attack isn't that crazy in Zenless as it is in like Wuwa. Like base attack and like attack percentage are like kind of nuts in Wuwa, but it's not that crazy in this game. So yeah, maybe this was not the best example. Maybe this was a stream thing as well. Maybe this won't be uploaded, but if he does upload it, I mean, it doesn't help for EO's reputation. He's trying to like, his reputation's kind of been tarnished, and he's kind of just known as the Riddler, which I'm not gonna lie, bro does kind of talk in circles, but it is what it is. That's my perspective on this. I don't think Zenless HP inflation is actually that bad at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't think you have to be a god at the game to clear any of the content. And again, if you're gonna call the game easy, then everyone should be clearing the content easy, right? That's how that works. That's how that works. And then to the argument, if you have the newer units, then yeah, you're clearing the content easily. Wait until the buffs. Wait until the buffs. If you've ever played the Hollow Zero with the Jane Doe buffs, those attachments you can give to her are insane. If they put that in her kit, she is going back up to the 0.5, guaranteed. Wait until these devs finish buffing these characters. They said they were gonna do it, and then let's bitch about it, right? That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.